Morning, dirt movers. We're back in Wilbarger County. Been up here for about a week and decided to build another stock tank here where we're working. And what we're going to do, I've already laid out a round hole. It'll be perfectly round, or try to be perfectly round on top. It'll be 162 foot in diameter. It'll be 14 foot deep. When we reach the depth of 14 foot, it'll have a 50-foot bottom in there and have 4-to-1 slopes. I've already got my test hole dug. I dug it over the weekend, and it's got a little bit of water in it, but not enough to hurt anything. It's just like it usually is in this part of the country. It's fresh water, and it's just coming up out of the bottom. And what we're going to be doing is right here is a backside of another pond that is above this. Matter of fact, there's two of them that are above this one. And what happens, they're both so shallow and silted in that by the end of the summer, which is right now, they're usually dry. And I'll show you, they're just they've just reached their capacity. They can't hold no more water. They're full of silt. And again, the spillway's washed out on this one right here, and so we're just going to leave them and let them keep filtering the water out, which will just make this one below it last that much longer. This one right here is a pretty old dam. You can tell it's pretty weathered away and got some big trees on it, but here's what it looks like right now. You can see basically it's dry other than just that little bit, but it is silted in. And then over here's the spillway, which you can see again, it's washed out. But this is an old pond, and what they've done, they went above it, and there's the dam of another little hole, which it still has water in it, and it's doing its purpose, but it's slowly silting in, which that's good. It'll catch all the silt, and it spills over by that big tree, and then it'll come into here and filter some more of the silt out. And then time it gets down here to our new pond, it'll be pretty clean water, and it'll last so much longer because all the water's silting out. I've got the topsoil peeled back. I still like a little bit right over here on this corner, but when you lay one out, you pretty well basically got to fit it into where you want it, and decide which way you want the water to spill, and try to keep it where your hole is below any high ground. It'll spill over here and go around that way. There's another creek below on this side of them heavy trees, and it has just too much drainage on it, and the soil changes once you get another 100 foot down there. You hit some gravel and some silty sand. So but this is good red clay up here right behind this one. And had to find my average ground. You just, after you lay that circle out, you've got 8 points in the center, and you just take your elevation shots of all of them, divide it by 9, you find what your average ground is, and that's what you want to base your depth on, average ground. So that way you're at least 14 foot in the ground. And then you set a benchmark, which is over here, this pole with a white flag, the ground where that rod's drove in the ground. I'll be 14 foot below that. But we'll show you some pictures of videos of as we're digging this thing and as we're getting it dug out. And one thing nice about this is it's going to be below these two hills, and trees around it and dirt around it, and then this dam will block the wind off, and that's what you want to try to do. That's one thing nice about these types of ponds, is the wind's knocked off of them, which cuts back on the evaporation during the year. So it'll be protected, and it'll be good deep water. It'll have like I say, the top will be 162 foot in diameter, but you've got a lot of deep water that'll last all year if it doesn't rain or something, or we hit the time of a drought. But that's what we're going to be doing. And this draw is surrounded by cropland and everything, and above it all the drainage that comes down, so there is a lot of silt coming down through here. So anyway, whenever I start to build one. I like looking around the old tank dams and stuff, and you can tell a lot what's been going on about what has happened and stuff. Originally, this was probably a pretty good dam, but they looked like they had trouble trying to find a place to spill it and everything. And at one time, the end of the dam was right in through here, because back here you can see where the thing used to spill, and they closed it off. It used to spill around this area, and you can see they got some junk and stuff, so they cut them a spillway over here, which lasted a while, but it started to wash. So they went to piling junk in it, which what they did years ago, and it finally grassed over. But the only thing they had left to do was cut through this hill, kind of like on that last job that we did fix the spillway. They cut through this hill, and when they did, they narrowed the spillway up, and eventually it just washed it out. So right now, here's the depth of the spillway. You can see that when the tank's full, it probably don't hold 2 foot of water because of the height of the spillway, and it's silted in. So when they cut this out, they was forcing all this water and choking it down and cut it through this hill. So then when they did that, it just created erosion and problem, just washed the spillway out, which it's like restricting a water hose. You choke a water hose down, and the velocity of the water is faster, trying to deal with the same amount of water, and it just washes it out. And it's washed it out plumb around to the other side of this hill where it drains down. But now what we're going to do, whenever I get that hole finished, I'll block this off, so this water will go back through here, and I'll open up a wide spot on that dam where that water can get out of here and everything. So, and obviously they've been in here once before and dug this thing out, because when you get over there around that corner, the dam's wider than it is right here. So they worked on that twice. So that pretty well tells you some things. If you'll just look around, you can see what's happening over the years as people was trying to deal with this erosion and clean out a tank and everything. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing, and we'll get you some shots of that. So again, if you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe. It don't cost nothing to subscribe. You don't hear that very much today, but subscribe and hit the bell, and that way you'll get some notifications, and share this with all your friends. So we'll let you see it as we're getting it dug out, so you can see what it looks like. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye. stop for a minute and eat a sandwich and come back down in the hole. I was going to show y'all a little bit of what it looks like. I'd cleaned it up before I stopped. When I got back down here, I had a little water already trying to come in, so I imagine in the morning there'll be more after I quit digging and clean it up. But that's just coming in. I'm probably about 10 foot below the top of the ground. I still almost to the bottom of my test pit, and here's just a little bit of grass left in the hole. Before I dug it, I caved the edges off so I wouldn't back off in there, and I filled it in, and some of the grass went all the way to the bottom of the pit. So just about to the bottom of it. I'm probably like 6 inches or so being to the bottom of it, but this is what it looks like right now. And still going down. The flags that the stakes with the flags on it's the top of the ground where it was when I started, and really all those stakes do is show you where the top line of the ground is, and your slope or your construction slope is to be from them stakes down the straight line. And then once you get past those stakes, that's the spoil or the dam part, it can be just flattened out and pushed back, which that's what I usually do. Don't use climbing a steep slope all the way up to the top. But I'm going to rip this up, and some of that dirt that I was talking about earlier with them circles showed up it shows up better when you rip it, because you pull them chunks up and it's got those circles in it. I seen some a while ago. Here's some starting to show up when I ripped it up, just them chunks with them little circles of moisture in it that was compressed. But there was a whole lot more than that a while ago. And that's funny, you'll rip it up and there'll be clods like that, and when you run over it, it just gets just powder fine and stuff. And of course that's hard because it starts to stick to your blade then. So anyway, I'll let y'all see what it looks like. I'll rip it up and see if I can see any more of that dirt and show you that. So we'll talk to you here in a little bit. Bye. Okay, right here was where that water was coming out, and I did some ripping and seen some of them circles, and I seen one had a hole in it like it had water till I ripped it. There's one there right there that's round, and then here's one right here. It had a hole in it, and I stuck something down in there, and it was wet. So anyway, I guess that's true. That was water that was trapped in them things when the earth was being formed. And here's some bigger ones, circles. Sometimes they'll get, like I say, I've seen them as big as softballs. Depends on how hard the dirt is. Now that looks like it's just like a chunk of rock, but when you run over it, it breaks up and just crumbles up and just gets as fine as flour, and then it starts sticking to your blade, and it makes it hard to push because it's not rolling on your blade. But there's a few up there that I broke up. There's some, so not a very good picture of them yet, but maybe later on we'll see some more of them. So if I see some big ones, I'll get some more videos of it. Well, I just got through ripping it again, and I'm glad I put on new ripper teeth, because that stuff is coming up in pretty good chunks. I hadn't seen no big circles, but I'm seeing more and more that still got liquid in there, and I've never seen that before. So something always different when you're out in the great creation, seeing how God put it all together. Usually I'll see them just solid gray circles with no liquid in them, but now I'm seeing more and more with holes and just almost water running out of them when you dig into it. But anyway, got it all cleaned up a while ago and decided to rip it again, see what it looks like. So I have seen that. It's not so abrasive as it is just all packed down real tight. I've had it get so hard that I've had to pull my outside rippers off and just rip with the middle one to get it to take the ground, but it still rips up good. It's just tight. Like I say, it's not abrasive. There's the rippers I put on. I hard surfaced them before I put them on there so I could get more wear out of them. But, there's a few circles. There's not as big as what I have seen them, but like I say, I had never seen them with them. This is one where the center of the gray part was wet, and it's just almost mud coming out of the center. And here's one right here. See how wet that is. Moisture is still trapped in there. There's some water right there. Huh. Right here's where that spot where water was coming out of the side a while ago. So anyway, we'll keep digging and see what we find. Talk to you later. Bye.